Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. Today what we're going to be covering is Apex Legends Shockwave patch notes. I apologize if you hear a lawnmower at all in the background. Unfortunately, neighbor decided to mow the lawn right when I started. If you are curious about some of these changes, some of these things I'm going to be covering quickly and briefly. That's why I'm trying to speed run this intro. Like the new map, obviously I'm going to talk about it, but we've already played the new map, so I'll have that in the link down in the description down below. Akimbo and stuff like that I'll cover, but I've also covered it in game. And as well as a lot of the buffs and nerfs. Well, we're going to see a lot of them, but I also have a video to physically showcase them on screen. So if you're interested in that, I want to see them, some of how they play out, check out the links down in the description down below. I'll put all three of those videos, but there is a lot to cover. There's stuff I was wrong about. Me call myself out. I was wrong about the ballistic change. I apologize for that full and foremost. If you don't understand how the early access work, we're there just to pretty much record. Feedback is pretty much over, and they tell some of the changes of the presentation, but all the other stuff that you find in the video is just us going for hours and hours on end, hoping that we understand the changes, because the patch notes are not released until today, which is what we're covering. So that's why some of the stuff is going to be missed, but why you should watch the patch notes for today. I'm going to timestamp everything down in the description. Let's just get into it. So new energy, more action. So they're coming in hot here with, there's a lot of passion. This video is gonna, let's be honest, guys, this is gonna be a long video. Okay, it's gonna be very long. They have a lot here. They have the new map, they have Bot Royale, I'm reading it from what we see on screen. They have Akimbo, they have tons of balance changes, they have three new modes, they have ways to unlock the battle pass. That's just through challenges. It's gonna be free the first season. There's a lot here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about first now the new map, E-District. I apologize if you hear my little microphone creak there. So interesting on the new map. I think it's amazing. I think the map feels well lived in. I think there's a lot of cover. There's a lot of places you can position. It's very colorful. I love all the shops. There's so many Easter eggs. I'm probably going to do one here in the channel on Thursday, because I just think that there's so much to find. You know, they have these like gravity lifts. If you want to see actual gameplay of playing it, it was a lot of fun to play. I do have concerns for some of the end zones because there's so much verticality to the map that if an end zone ends on, let's say like Lotus, the north side of the apartment buildings, what's going to happen there? I think that's going to be fascinating to kind of know. But here we are. If you're interested in that, link down in the description to some of the gameplay. I think the new map is awesome. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I think that for most casuals to people that are sweaty are going to love this, especially for movement players. There's tons of zip lines in these buildings. There's plenty of places to use movement, to use mantle jumping. I think it's great. I love it. So the map rotation is going to be Broken Moon, E-District, and Storm Point. So these are going to be the three maps we're going to be rotating through. And yeah, for the first week, each ranked match for the first 72 hours of the season. As an introduction, let me read this. As an introduction to the newest map, E-District will be a dedicated feature for a limited time. Let the energy of the neon light. So it'll just be here for a hot minute until they rotate it out. But this is going to be what the map rotation is going to be. Now, strap in, and if you're listening to it, you can listen to it like a podcast, because like I said, I don't know what other way to describe this by us just being here explaining so many of the changes, and it's going to take a hot minute to get through them. So let's cover the controller and recon class perks. I'm gonna slow down a little bit in my speech. I was going through some of the other stuff because I think now is the time where we get into the important information. Personally, this season we're beginning a much more intentional push on what classes mean to the core game by bringing new tactical classes passive to controller and recon classes. Both will continue to be both a strategic depth to their squad via interactions with survey beacons and ring consoles, but they'll now have new powers to better support their role on the team. So controller class. Now, you initially have, let's say you go right into zone, you drop, let's just set the stage. You immediately have 25 extra shield capacity. You don't even have to heal it. Now, this is permanent as long as you remain in zone. If you leave the zone, the white ring area, then you're going to have a 5-second delay and then lose that overcharge. You can heal your overcharge with cells, batteries, and abilities. If a player enters the zone at full shields, the overcharge will automatically fill. Now, I have a question. Does it like pop in automatically, or does it heal over time? If a player acquires a shield core that overcharges beyond its extra zone capacity, that additional overcharge will still drain normally, but the zone overcharge will remain. So that curious if like you leveled up. So let's go blue to purple. Now also, zone overcharge will enhance legend armor beyond red. Will never go beyond red. Let me read that. Zone overcharge will never enhance legend armor beyond red. So red is the cap. Red is it. That is it. You're not getting 250 HP. You're only getting 225. Now, New quality of life as well, remote pickup for legends at a distance. So I showcase this in the buffs and nerfs, so you want to physically see it, but if a player leaves an area, you have the prompt to recover all possible objects. You can remotely cover these objects, so will store tactic, you can do it individually. So their notes here are control legends are at their best when playing zone position, so they're giving them that strength by going to zone instead of having to go for hunting the evos. Instead, allow them to maintain equal footing when their armor, playing to the strengths, gaining knowledge on the next ring, and so forth. They also notice that many new players to controller classes struggle with managing their tacticals. This is a step to kind of balance that a little bit. It's going to make it easier, but also for players that are seasoned like myself and others who play like, let's say, Wattson, Catalyst, you know, Caustic, and Rampart are going to find a lot of strength there. Now, Recon class also has been reworked a bit. Now, it just benefits. We'll talk about Survey Beacon. There's some give and take here. The new class perk is Threat Vision. I want to highlight this is very, very different from Battle Sense. Threat Vision now gains when aiming down sights. I describe it best like a digital threat. Threat Vision will highlight enemies that the character has line of sight of whenever using ADS, so you have to be ADS. This will not work through walls, they will not work through smoke, and it's limited in range by the type of scope or zoom range of an ability. So I think it's just a buff. If you like digital threat, it's just visual clarity across the board for Recon, and if you don't like that, I guess that sucks because it's there as a class perk. I don't think you could turn this one off. What you can turn off is Battle Sense. You can actually turn that off. Survey Beacon's faster to use, 3 seconds, and it was 3.5 seconds. So faster, that's a buff. But they shortened the range to 500 meters, and it was scanning the entire map before, which is a nerf because you can also use that as information of where to rotate to, where enemy teams are located, and who's rotating late outside of zone. You don't have that. It is no longer randomly distributed, and it will now be turned on with every map. All will be turned on. That's a buff. So now they're going to be everywhere. There's going to be tons of them. Now, what's interesting is they also reduced the evo because now you're going to be able to see more of them. And it also pulses 3 times over 15 seconds, meaning if somebody's running towards you, you're going to know. If they're running away from you, you're going to know. This now release a large in-roll scan wave that players can spot to identify and activate a beacon. Enemies no longer receive a scan message. That's a buff. So like I said, there's a lot of give and take here. Enemy scan will display along the edges of the minimap, even if not in. Interesting. Okay. Dev note, Recon legends are defined as legends who are about enemy intel and tracking, which is a core part of each character's play pattern, but to date, the only class benefit was something players had to seek out via survey beacons. We're ratcheting up the scout role for Recon legends this season, putting class power directly into their hands. With ADS threat, these new characters are now adept at spotting distance targets for their enemy, and now innately do something that no other class can. The change survey beacons should allow players to make the more tactical part of the play rather than strategic element. The full map scan was really only useful to a small number of high-level players. I guess that makes sense overall. It would turn your team into a magnet for others to hunt. I guess that message. Now from being more frequent, faster to use, it's just quick intel and quick evo. So positive there. Update stat trackers. So a lot of people, if you love stat trackers, they made a huge quality of life change and are separating out the stat and the art. You'll now be able to set these on your legend banner cards separately. The art on your trackers have also been made universal. It means that you can apply it to any legend banner card. So if you're really up to like dressing up your card and making it look like a certain color, they wanted to give ways to customize your banners and really showcase like a one-of-a-kind type of legend. There's also great ways to show off your legends in the ships, essentially. So pretty cool. Log in, try it out. Is what they're saying for you to do. I think that's a good change. You know, add some more colors out there, add ways to make you feel different without having to like spend, because I'm sure we all have a lot of stat trackers. A good way without having to spend extra money. You know, at least that's my feedback there. Battle Pass. This was interesting. So we all know that Battle Pass has been reverted. You can use Apex coins. Now, the first split of the season, the Battle Pass is actually free for everyone. They want to give you an opportunity to get the premium Battle Pass. You can unlock it by completing the following steps. So meaning you can't use coins at the start here. You just have to play 2 matches, deal 1,000 damage as Recon, open 15 supply bins, deal 500 damage to BR, complete 10 levels of the Battle Pass. Starting with Season Split 2, then you can purchase it with Apex coins. Tinfoil hat theory. What if they intended everyone to always have it for free by completing challenges? I think they would have said that, but I don't know. I just had to mention it and kind of put it out there. Patch notes. The care package, EVA 8 returns to the floor This is a gun that I rarely use, but the blast pattern size was slightly increased. The damage increased to 7, so they buffed it a little bit. Rate of fire decreased. It now has a boosted loader. Adds 4 more shots as well. The quick reload overflows the magazine by 2. Slight increase to recoil. Are you using the EVA 8? Be honest with me. Especially after the other shotgun changes, I'm not really sure if we're all going to be using it that very much. R99 enters the care package, the ADS strafe speed increase with improved recoil. They have a new feature called damage fall off, which I don't like personally. I just think it should just be the same damage across the board. They increase the damage at close range to 14, but the damage falls off at 11 plus meters to 10 damage. I don't know. There's no movement penalty when equipped though. That's interesting. I assume that means kind of like a Mad Maggie shotgun. So if you're a movement player, this is going to definitely be a massive benefit running around. Now, they also changed the Evo cash spawn rate to the first wave increased to 100%. This was 50. Now, as we continue onwards, the gold weapon rotation is the Mozambique Akimbo, P2020 Akimbo. If you're asking yourself the question if it has hammer points, yes. R301, Rampage, and Sentinel. Now, R301 did get a mag size buff. I did not notice this. Aim assist. This is one of the biggest changes to the game in a hot minute in terms of aim assist. When was the last time they even adjusted aim assist? Have they even ever adjusted it? Nonetheless, I don't know much about this change because I don't play controller, but hey, they've said a few things here. Console crossplay into PC lobbies or aim assist is reduced by 18%. If you're on performance mode going into PC lobbies, your strength was reduced by 22%. And if you're a controller on PC, you already have a reduction by another 25%. They value accessibility on cross-platform. This is their note. It is equally important for them to monitor that ecosystem. You know, from all types of player trackers and data, they're seeing the encounter win rate, different peripherals. There's a difference overall and by peripherals. Apex Legends competitive shooter. Simply put, aim assist is too strong. That's what they're seeing on the data. Aim assist will never be removed as a critical accessibility feature. I do agree on that point. Console lobbies remain unaffected. This only impacts players on PC lobbies. Now, they said their most competitive ecosystem. I don't know if that's a slight. Are they trying to say that Pred on console is like easier? What are they trying to say there? I don't really know what that means. Why? Our most competitive ecosystem. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Besides like adding a slight to console lobbies. This doesn't resolve the intricacies of all aim assist hot topics, but it should help the playing ground. Okay, another major change, aim flinch. So they said here, let's be honest, nobody had a love for aim flinch. They made the call to remove it. Now it exists on some abilities like Newcastle ult where it just shake your screen wildly, but it has been removed from all weapons and most abilities. Damage from the ring still occurs with aim flinch. So if you're wondering what aim flinch is, when you were flesh, you essentially still had to deal with increased recoil and visual clutter like crazy. So not anymore. Now, loot bins have also been adjusted. This is kind of a buff for Loba. I was actually talking about this with Ty. So a buff essentially has occurred here. Now, mid-round, all the loot bins will close and re-roll the loot. And yeah, the loot's all back. Now, the downside, if you're running around, you won't know if somebody went through that POI. You just see a bunch of loot. So I would say be careful about getting obsessed with just getting constant loot. It's nice that they have the loot table there, but just don't obsess about it. I guess if you need resources, you got to know when to stop looting. Mythic bin. One Mythic bin will spawn into the match with one random care package weapon, gold version of the weapons of those that the squad is running at the time of opening the bin, medical supplies, grenades, and a large XP bonus to the squad. Mythic bins are required, so it takes about, I believe, either 10 to 15 seconds. Somebody timed it for my video. I think it's 12, I believe. They didn't say the time here, but there it is. So with all the much more loot, they reduced the spawn rate of purple and gold attachments by 50%. Now, access to high tier attachments early game have started to feel too common, which resulted in squashing power progression over the course of the match. But reducing the amount of high tier loot in early games will be fighting for even more terms. Terms? You mean fighting for more loot? And I guess to compensate for this reduction, loot bin reset improves the overall much loot. That's why I say Loba is a buff. If you're looking for those high tier attachments, and then if you're playing Assault, I guess it's kind of a buff to them across the board. Something interesting to kind of think about. Reorganization, Deathbox, and Loba Black Market has been changed. Healing items now have a dedicated row, and shield cores have been moved for their very tippy top. This kind of, I mean, initially it's going to feel a little awkward, but in the long run, this should help make it easier for, you know, armor swapping, getting the bats that you need, and just leaving. Traversal change. This is a good quality of life change. Mantling at the same time the spawn as a teammate no longer forces players to drop. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. That was much needed. Battle Sense. Now this is some stuff for ammo and feedback. Critical ammo will now kick on when a player has 0 relevant ammo in their inventory. Okay. On-screen low ammo indicators kick on earlier, allowing players more opportunity to find ammo. Indicators also now displays the icon of the ammo type. Pinging for ammo will now display the ammo icon in the kill feed for, I guess, your teammate. When emptying a weapon at all reserve ammo, and it will now automatically ping that player is in need of ammo. When looking at ammo on the ground, the tooltip now displays compatibility of any of your current weapons. Just a lot of quality of life here. It just seems like for making sure players know when they're running out of ammo. If you know you're running out of ammo and you keep good awareness, I don't really know if this really helps you too much. Enemy health bars. When damaging an enemy, your players now show an enemy's armor and health state. The health bar is only active for a brief time. After dealing damage, health bars like enemy highlights requires direct line of sight. Here's another, it's going to get very interesting about this, by the way. Enemies will now be highlighted with a red outline, so not threat vision, to allow allies are highlighted with a blue one. The highlight is most prominent at close range, and the intensity fades as the target gets further away. Enemy highlights require direct line of sight. You can breathe now, Bangalore mains. That's what they said here. Both enemy health bars and enemy highlights can be toggled on or off in settings. I'm gonna be honest, for people who are mad about this, you can turn it off. But honestly here, why would you turn it off? Visual clarity, GG's. If you're MNK, you pretty much want to have this on. Maybe you turn off the health bars and then you leave the highlights. But as a streamer myself, or people who are watching the game casually, I think the health bars are going to help them. And it's going to help me because I'll be able to see the enemies better. That's my thought process on it. Now, I know it makes the game easier, but I'm willing to give this trade-off for having more visual clarity. That's my standpoint on it. I mean, if you can just turn it off, if you really don't like it, I think that's great that they actually thought about that. So that'll be one of the new features. You go to health, and highlight bars are intended to level the playing field and combat the intensity of battle. No one likes dumping mags into their squad mate's back because they totally thought it was an enemy lifeline. Experienced players can develop the skill to call out health values and so forth, which is what we already do, but providing a visual aid for critical information, that's also what I'm saying for viewers. And you can really call out if they're actually won, you know, instead of having to do the math in your head. So I guess, like I said, just if you don't like this, turn it off. I think it's nice that they're adding that. It's gonna be very interesting to see which pros leave it on and which pros leave it off. My theory, tinfoil hat theory, MNK players are gonna leave it on. Controller players are probably gonna leave it off. I think the enemy highlights should still stay on though. Ammo and attachments. Ammo spawn rates. Energy ammo reduced individual spawn rate. Light and heavy ammo slight increase to individual spawn rate. Shotgun and sniper ammo increase individual spawn rate. So you can tell here that they're nerfing energy ammo. Now they're encouraging higher light ammo stacks. It was 72 now, it was 60. The individual brick was increased to 24. Energy ammo was decreased to 54, and also the individual brick was 18. So they're reducing it. Shotgun buff. The ammo stack size increased to 20, and individual brick size increased to 10. Now, light ammo weapons have been overshadowed by our heavy and energy arsenal the last few seasons. With this set of changes, we're hoping that the ammo economy for light will improve their viability and earn back a place in players' loadouts. But there's also a lot of light gun buffs, which we're going to cover here in just a second. Disruptor rounds have been removed from the floor loot, and they have a new hop-up, which is gun shield generator. I cover this. The shield absorbs 40 damage. Gibraltar is increased to 75. The recharge remains the same as Gibraltar, and for the gun shield, it recharges after 12 seconds after taking damage or breaking. Now, while aiming down sights, this automatically appears. This is used by Spitfire, Rampage, L-Star, and Devotion. Devotion and Care Package automatically has it. So for Akimbo, I know I cover this in a video dedicated down in the description down below. You can dual wield 2 P2020s. I can't talk. You can dual wield two P2020s and 2 Mozambiques. The season about finding and interacting with second P2020 Mozambique automatically enter Akimbo mode. But I didn't know this in my video. You can actually toggle the select fire to holster your second weapon and re-enable your optic. That's why your optics remain there. But when you are in Akimbo, your optics are gone. They double the max size, there are longer reload times, they increase the rate of fire. Both P2020 Mozambique are automatic in Akimbo. Attachments are mirroring to the second weapon, so if you have hammer points or if you have a shotgun bolt, so forth. Aiming down sights tightens hip fire spread instead of looking down sights. So Akimbo, it's really strong. It really is really, really good. LMGs, all LMGs now benefit from reverse hipfire mechanic found in the care package Devotion. New hop-up gun shield generator. They said see hop-up sections above, which we discussed. But so LMGs were essentially, the more you shoot them, the more accurate they're going to become. So there is that massive benefit there, which is crazy. Spitfire, you keep missing, don't worry, keep shooting, you'll get more accurate. Crazy. I don't know if this will make me want to pick up an LMG. I tend to avoid them. I don't think they're very good. I think this is their way of trying to make them stronger. We'll see how that works out. LMGs are great at suppressing enemies and unloading huge mags for consistent damage, but they can't compete with our more aggressive weapon types. I agree. So that's what they're trying to do here. That's the note that they have. They're allowing the gun shield to fight, have a fighting chance by balancing that. I wonder if it'll be too strong. We'll see. So now the mag size for the alternator in the car had been buffed. The base is 19 and the white mag has an additional bullet. The blue mag has an additional bullet, and the gold and purple now have an additional bullet as well. The car also has an additional bullet for white, blue, and purple and gold. So massive buff. I want to say massive. I'd just say buff. I mean, for SMGs, the bullet count was kind of the biggest issue. It's kind of, I guess, my point. Devotion. Care package here. The empty reload speed decreased. Gun shield generator is automatically added. Reverse hipfire improved. Shots needed for hipfire reduced to 14. It was 21. Wow, so that's a buff. That's a buff for sure. The flatline was reduced by 1 bullet across the board. Actually, no. Let's read this. The base was 19, or it was 20. It's now 19. White is 23. It was 25. Blue is the bullet. It was reduced from 28 to 27, and then of course at the end it's 29. For some reason, white has 2 bullets removed. I don't know if that's a typo. That's interesting. Havoc, hipfire accuracy reduced significantly. I have yet to feel that. Whenever I play tested, it doesn't seem like it's enough. Hemlock, they reduced the burst, or the burst is increased, so the rate of fire essentially. Magazine reduced to 19. It was 20. Magazine size reduction as well. So they reduced by 3 bullets unless you get to the very end, and then you get unchanged, which is kind of strange. If you get purple and gold, GG's, you're kind of back to the old way. But white and blue are definitely impacted. Interesting. Now, P2020 was damage increased to 21. It was 18. Hammer point damage decreased to 23. It was 27. So they reduced hammer point, but they increased the base damage. Okay. I'm just kind of processing that. That makes sense so that it doesn't get too strong. The magazine base is 10, was 14. White is 11, so they nerfed the magazine. Purple and gold is 14, was 21. I guess it really encourages Akimbo. I think that's what they're doing here. Hammer point damage for full burst reduced to 54, was 60. Rate of fire significantly increased. Shotgun bolt rate of fire also decreased at all levels. The Mastiff damage increased to 15, was 11. The pallet count reduced to 6, was 8. So you see how there's less bullets. Pattern is a little tightened. So they're trying to increase the consistencies here, is what they're pretty much saying, by cranking the damage up and tightening that spread. Peacekeeper has a whole new spread. The damage increased per pellet to 11, was 9. Pellet count reduced to 9, was 11. So the blast patterns changed to reflect that. So now these outliers here won't cause as much of a deficit in terms of damage because they're tighter and less pellets. The R301 was buffed. It now has a magazine of 21, white 23, blue 28, and then purple and gold 31. I love the R301. This is a great buff. I'm gonna be rocking the R301 more too. The RE45 was buffed in terms of mag, increased from the base by 2 bullets. White is now increased by 1, blue increased by 1, and then purple and gold increased by 1 bullet. So the base, when you are off drop, it's going to be a little more consistent. The Rampage increased projectile size when revved up. We talked about the overcharge for Legends as well as Recon, so we don't need to cover that again. Alter. So some buffs here. I'm surprised not to the tactical, mostly to the ultimate. The channel time when knocked was decreased to 2 seconds instead of 3. The portal chase duration is decreased to 8 seconds instead of 10, so they got to make a decision to come through that portal more. Chase portal opening delay increased to 8, was 6, so now they have to wait another 2 seconds before that opening comes through. They also increased the travel time by 40%. It was 1,800 units of speed. The ult cooldown was reduced by 3 minutes, so that passive, so now it's going to come up a lot more. They removed the option to press the action to destroy your void nexus. I'm actually surprised about that. But now they're making the resets easier. and stronger. Essentially, you're going to be probably going to be able to get off like at least a bat before somebody comes through. So it's going to be more dangerous to come through the Void Nexus, essentially. That's pretty much what they're saying. That the Alter felt like the placement was unsafe, you know, or like it was rarely used, mostly resulted in us, I guess, destroying our own Void Nexus. I guess. It was a trade-off, you know. So now, but they changed the level 2 perk because now you don't have 30 seconds. You now gain access to ring consoles. There you go. Ballistic, I was wrong about this. I thought it was a damage change. It shows how much I play about Ballistic. I could have sworn this was a change. To be honest, there was no way I was ever going to find this. The Whistler lock-on decreased to 0.1 second. In terms of lock-on time, it was 0.3. I don't know how anybody was ever going to be able to tell that difference. Even if you play Ballistic, be honest, were you able to tell this difference? I apologize for being wrong about that. I think that was one of the things I was wrong about. I think everything else, I think I locked in pretty good. I try to take a lot of notes. Sometimes this stuff gets away from me. Caustic barrels, if you're friendly, now have green barrels. Crypto drone, decreased to 30 seconds. It was 40. The upgrades, this is new off the grid, you go invisible. Now you can get Bloodhound scan, you can get Seer scan. If you take damage and you leave the scan, if the drone gets destroyed, you leave the scan, or the invisibility. Sorry, I keep saying scan. Invisibility, replace those word invisibility. Now the improved satellite imagery, ult now scans anyone it hits for 4 seconds and will track through walls. That's a wow, okay. Quick ping removed, improved handling now integrated into base kit. Cool. As well as, let's see here. Yeah, no, this is great. How many times are we going to have to buff crypto until he becomes meta is a question. Lifeline, they nerfed, you know, a lot of dominance. They pretty much guaranteed. They felt like it was already strong enough guaranteeing gold knockdown, so they're pretty much giving away the free pass to max level with Evo Cash, and they're replacing it with a battery. Rampart Sheila has been buffed. Essentially, it works more like a Vantage ult. That's the best way to describe this. She's not slept on. She just has more power early on and more control over ultimate when to pull it out, and so just more ease of access like Vantage. So good buff across the board. Sheila's more impactful early on and now uses ammo style like we had mentioned. The number of placement turrets is only 1 now, but again, you only need 1 of those charges to drop a Sheila, which is pretty good. Seer, focus of attention, health bars persist for silence and duration. The heartbeat sensor move speed is increased to weapon sprint speed. So, oh man, I don't know about that. Okay. A lot of, so it's kind of like abuse it by just constantly scanning, slide jumping is what people used to do. Passive is now quieter when active. Upgrades, the focus scan is removed, but you now gain the additional tactical charge. aka the silence reduced by 50%, but you gain additional tactical. So technically you get 2 slows. It's kind of nice. Vantage, massive buff across the board. You no longer requires LOS to echo to launch. When you can launch when LOS is blocked. You can also cancel the tactical mid-charge. Tactical reticle will turn red when echo is behind you when you are launching. Will slide around boxes geometry as best it can to reach echo. Sniper marks. The second shot now is 2.5. So massive buff across the board, additional 25 damage essentially. You can now hit reload when in ult to use an ult excel instead of having to go to your inventory. Spotter lens as well, new range tracking. Waypoint on ping within passive range will track enemies for 10 seconds. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even try that. Will not show within 100 meters for each ally individually. Okay, recon info added to all optics. That's crazy. So now 1x, I assume, does that apply to even like your ADS, which is like irons? Expanded passive scanning screen area to be more consistent. Okay. Upgrade ult reload now doubles ult excel use speed in addition to providing 2 extra bullets. If you're playing aggressive, man, this is crazy. I mean, Wattson and Vantage, 2 of my mains. So let's get on the Wattson one. So the Wattson one, essentially, now you got the controller buffs. You have a buff to your ultimate. You get 2 choices here. You can choose the power pylon, which doubles your ult HP, and your shield generator recharges infinitely. Or you can choose emergency power, which doubles the amount of capacity that it has, and then also the speed. So you either want speed and capacity or HP and infinite, which is crazy. That's a massive buff. So let's see here. Maps, the rotation like we discussed, are Broken Moon, E District, and Storm Point. They're an E District map. It's gonna be ranked for the first 72 hours after launch. Bot Royale, if you struggle with learning anything in the game, even if you want to use movement against bots, I think this is just on World's Edge. Several legends were added as bots in Bot Royale, including Bangalore. Okay, they added more bots. Playing with bots in your squad, bring your own human friends. game rules still apply. It's just now it doesn't apply for getting XP and stuff like that. It stops at level 10 from what they said. It doesn't say here, but that's what they said in the presentation. Now the new mode, which is Revival LTM, which features a new respawn mechanic. You respawn into a skydive near your teammates. If all players die, that's it, you're done. If you deal damage, earn knocks, earn kills, execute enemies, then you're going to reduce the spawn timer. And spawn timers increase with each passing round. You killing an enemy will reveal their squad mates for a brief time. This respawning ends and all deaths are final upon reaching a specific round. So that's on round 5. Straight shot ends at round 4. Players with blue knockdown shields removed from the loot pool. Oh, wow. Wait, is that across the board? Interesting. I'm surprised they didn't put that in the loot pool. Cool. Straight shot returns as straight shot revival. Same thing we mentioned. Mozambique's and P2020s replace a single version of loot, so you're always going to get Akimbo. Purple and gold tier LMGs will include new gun shield generators. So cool. Mixtape, if you're curious about that, link down in the description down below. You can check out this article. Now, the new player experience as well. Welcome pass and challenges for new accounts created under the launch of Shockwave. You get a welcome pass, you get skins, you can complete some stuff, you can do stuff with Bot Royale, there's unique challenges. Welcome refresh challenges do not refresh. My understanding as well is that you has to be a new account, like I said, after Shockwave. You receive rewards, and if a player already has a reward in the inventory, they will receive the crafting material value instead. They start with 3 new legends, Wraith, Bloodhound, and Lifeline. Unlock Bloodhound, Pathfinder, Gibraltar, and the legend of their choice through progression. So it's more or less to get you more into the game. Now let's see here. They will implement a brand new reset rule at the start of the new season. So I guess how everyone's resetting. I don't really understand these values. Or no RP reset. Platinum 3 reset to bronze. So just where you reset to. It's like a harsher reset because like even Diamond 1 goes to Silver 1. Everyone goes down a lot further across the board. If you look at these numbers, everyone's dropping further. Master and above reset to gold. So everyone, like, instead of like Diamond going to like Plat and then Plat going to like gold, everyone's hard dropping. Interesting. Special cases, new players complete onboarding, starting rookie 1 RP, returning players who didn't play last season, starting threshold of bronze. Wow. The goal here is to reset to a tier that suits them based on their performance in the ranks and previous season, allowing them to start battling for the rank better suit their skill level or protecting newcomers and low ranked. Doesn't that mean that they say that, but doesn't that mean everyone's just going to be at the bottom? Like, doesn't it seem like they're all down there? Additionally, important with achievements of high ranked players who perform well in the previous season is retained. I don't know. It just seems like everyone's going to be lower ranked. I don't know. We'll see how that works. Ranked Rumble is going to return. Players can participate in matches without 10 matches limitations. There's no re-entry mechanic. Play as much as you want. Only your top 10 matches results count. Oh, cool. Just keep playing. If you get a better match score, oh wow, that's cool. This is good. This is a good change. Instead of having to just keep resetting, you just keep playing until you get your best rounds across the board. World Systems improved end ring generation system. I don't know what that means. Can no longer use death boxes through walls. Is this an alter fix? I don't know. Cleaning up disconnect players in mixtape, firing range, mythic weapons are no longer taken away after respawning. Fix. Hopefully that's also attachments. Fix the storm point zipline that could kick players off too early. Fix bad actor ping crashes. I didn't know that was a thing. Fix prowler spawn and then bullet collision hull. Adaptive super sampling. Okay, I don't know what that means. Somebody can explain that to me. Death boxes, improvements to help stop death box from getting stuck in doorways. So I wonder if that means they'll like move over a little bit. Should be lootable in broken doorways. Now contain a shield core if enemy disconnects before dying. That's good because that was a interesting one. Alter's ult can no longer be used free if you place it on moving object and use it immediately. Interesting. I remember that was happening. I didn't know you could actually use it though. I felt like it just kept going into inventory. Bangalore smoke highlights should no longer get blocked by other players. Fix an issue that let players affected by Canos ultimate to see through Bangalore smoke. Movement hitch when using Seer passive while unarmed should no longer occur. No more thefts from explosive hole without warning. Destroying a little bit of black market. Mantling in the same location won't knock you down. We mentioned that. This is some mixtape changes. You can check those out in the description down below. Graphics, optimization, fixed DirectX 12. This is a lot, guys. This is the longest patch notes I've ever had to cover. If you enjoy it, sorry for the lawnmower in the background. I'm gonna try to do a noise reduction, see if that'll help. Lots of changes. Check out all the videos in the description down below. Hopefully enjoy these patch notes. I apologize for getting out a little late. Again, there's so many changes. I don't know what to tell you. Like, there was a lot of changes. So hopefully you're hyped for the new season. I definitely am. There's a lot of stuff here, and this is my final notes to anybody watching, even Respawn players. Guys, anti-cheat. Really, really important. I know that they're trying to make the game more accessible for casuals, but for the competitive integrity of the game to continue, I get the landscape struggles across the board, but Cronus, Zen, strike packs, I keep repeating it, wall hacks, aimbot, I mean, go down the list. Any form of cheating, 6 manning, 12 manning in console lobbies, people abusing stuff, even with Rumble. I saw people with a score of 6,600, which is absurd. That means they had over 660 points per round. The only way to do that is by cheating in a lobby, trading damage. That's hard to find, but listen, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to tackle all the ways of cheating, because it ruins the competitive integrity of the game. And I think it's incredibly important as players get better at the game. I mean, we just want to know that your time and efforts are being valued because of somebody cheating. That's just my closing thoughts. Respawn, I think, is doing a great job. I think every time they have a season drop, I think it's really good. I think, you know, mid-season content could always be something we should care about. I think that what's going to happen, let me just be very honest with you guys. What's going to happen here, there's a lot of great changes here. You're all going to be very excited for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on how much time you put in, and then some of that novelty is going to wear off. Just remember, balance, health, mental health, life, all of that stuff. Don't get too invested by overwhelming yourself and burning yourself out. I mean, invest yourself, yes, if you're having fun, but remember that breaking point, and remember that there are still things that need to be adjusted and changed, which I'm still like always advocating for. This isn't me being a Debbie Downer. It's just, remember, life balance, guys. Life balance is so important. So I'm kind of adding it as just kind of these last notes here if you want my honest opinions and thoughts. I'm still going to be making Apex content. My biggest gripes and me potentially quitting in the long run is always looming, you know, and the reason why I say that is, like, I doubled down hard on my content. I have been showcasing on every Saturday. I show up in Discord and we have our feedback loop. We talk about the game. I've been in Discord more, hearing about everyone's feedback on the content. I've been producing more content than ever. I'm going to go back to going back to the consistency. I have lots of ideas out on the table, but if viewership just completely plummets and drops, and that's kind of our answer, and before we know it, I'll never ever make a video saying I'm going to quit, but it'll just kind of happen before, like, it'll just kind of happen. We just won't even know that it happened. That's why I made that video. It's important now to rally behind any one of your creators, even if you don't like me. If there's a creator out there that you love, specifically in Apex Legends, I encourage you to leave their video up in the background, support them, watch their streams. Now is the time more than ever. This game, we're getting into past year 5, and it's very important. Sorry for the kind of rant here at the end. I just think we're in such a pivotal moment when it comes to Apex. I think that all these changes are great. I think Respawn really cares. I think that we have some of the best things coming to Apex Legends. If you disagree with me, I'm sorry. That's how I feel about the game. I really enjoy this game. I love this game. I have fun still playing this game, and that's kind of where we sit. So guys, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Again, you know, I've already said that, but we'll see you guys all in the stream tomorrow. Let's go have fun. Have fun, guys. Enjoy the game. Let's get back to just being a community and join together and have fun. Let's get back to that. I'll talk to you guys all real soon.